In this video, we will learn how to create business partner and assign them into required role. In ECC environment, we will be learning creating the business partner in the S/4HANA environment. So let's understand how it used to happen in ECC. So in ECC, if we wanted to create a customer or a vendor, we had the option of creating it by directly going to a T code for customer. It was FD01, that was in FI, and for vendor FI, which is financial accounting, which is company code. So we wanted to create a customer in company code. The T code was FD01, and if we wanted to create a vendor in company code, which is FI, the T code was FK01. And later, if we wanted to assign these customers or vendors in the respective area, like vendor in the purchasing area, make it a purchasing supplier, or customer in the sales area, make it integrated with the sales and distribution. We could easily extend these roles into the respective area. But in S/4HANA, these transactions have become obsolete. Instead, mandatorily, we have to create a business partner, and then only when this business partner is created, a role can be extended to it, and that role can be of a FI vendor or a purchasing vendor. It can also be FI customer or sales segment customer. So it is mandatory to create a business partner and then extend that business partner into the required role. Now, before business partner, we can choose out of the 4 categories which are given, whether we want to create a business partner in the individual group or as a company or as a group. Now, once we create a business partner in the respective category, we assign it to the required role. And there are some predefined roles in SAP, so we can use them as it is. For FI vendor, which means creating the vendor in company code, the role which has been predefined is FLVN00. And for creating the vendor in purchasing organization, the role is FLVN01. For creating a FI customer, which means creating the customer details for a company code, the role is FLCU00. And for extending the business partner into the role of a customer in sales area, the predefined role is FLCU01. If we wish, we can copy them and then use. Otherwise, we can also use them as it is. So, I mean, the requirement for the information remains the same. Here in ECC also, there were 3 segments. Like there was one general data. So this general data is still there. So while we are creating the business partner, we will be creating this business partner with the general information, general data of the partner, which is like name, address, contacts, etc. Now, the other was if we are creating the FI customer, so there used to be one company code data. Similarly, when we are extending this general information of the business partner into the required role, so if we are assigning a role of FI vendor, which means we want to have this vendor created in a company code, then this will need company code data for this vendor. So the company code information at both the places remains same, which is GL account number, payment terms, mode of payment, tolerance group, correspondence, etc. So this information, whether we are creating a vendor in a company code or customer in the company code, this information remains the same. We need GL account data for vendor also. We need a GL account number for customer also. Now, if we want to extend the FI vendor to the purchasing area, the third type of information which was also used or which was also required in ECC, we are creating a vendor in purchasing area, that was purchasing org information. And if we wanted to create or extend the FI customer into the sales area, that is to be the sales area information. Similarly, if we want to have this business partner extended into purchasing vendor, then we will need purchasing org information. And this information is like partner functions and some other payment information, delivery mode, etc. Similarly, for the customer in the sales area segment, the information which is required, sales area, distribution channel, division, etc. So what I mean to say, that the requirement of the information or the kind of information which is needed, that is still the same as it was in the ECC. Only how the vendor or customer master data being created, that has changed. So now we mandatorily have to create a business partner and then extend the role into the different needed areas. Now the next thing is configurations. Because as for HANA, if we want to create the customer vendor master data, we have to do it in two steps. One for the business partner and then for the respective FI or purchasing org level. Similarly, we also have to make the configurations at two places. So one one at, as we used to do in ECC, AP or AR, and other is in business partner, which is the cross component. Now here also we will have to create a customer or vendor account group. Here also there will be a group. Similarly, there will be number range. Business partner cross component also will create a number range, and this number range will be assigned to customer or vendor group. Similarly, this number range will also the business partner group. Another thing is that because we will be extending the business partner role into the customer or vendor, so we want that whenever we extend or we assign the business partner into the respective area, the number should remain the same. The partner number should not change. So the number which gets generated for the business partner, same number should get extended to the customer in AR and or vendor in AP. So there is a little setting that we have to do. So first we have to make sure that the number range that we create here and the number range that we create here should be same. Okay. So you will have to work around a little to create the same number range. So when I say same number range, so we are creating a number range, let's say 1000 to 1999. Number range here also should be 1000 to 1999. So if you are doing the configurations and implementations in the live scenario, then it becomes easy because you are the one who are creating and assigning the number range. But because we are working in the training environment, so sometimes what happens that number ranges which are free in the business partner are not free in the customer or vendor area. So you have to create number in such a way that at both the levels it is same. And that number range should be set to the setting of internal in business partner and external customer and vendor account group. And after that, we have to do a master data synchronization. Where we will say that the number range for customer or vendor account group and number range for business partner should remain same. And that setting. When we start doing the setting, then I will show you. So let's go to the system and start doing the configurations. We go to SPRO, IMG, Financial Accounting, Account Receivable and Payable. First we will create the vendor accounts. master data, preparation for creating vendor master data, define account groups. We can create one more group here, or we can use one existing. Let's create one more group here. It is one. Group 1. Enter. Save. And then number ranges. Create number ranges for vendor accounts. Intervals. Now if we click here, we will see all the available intervals. The only thing is that the interval that we are choosing here should be the same interval in the business partner as well. So we choose, let's say, okay, we can leave this screen for a while and we can come back to it little later after we have understood the available number ranges in the business partner area also. So we'll go to a different session. Then again we are at the SPRO configuration menu. And then from here we come to the cross application components. Then business partners. First SAP business partner, then business partner. And then here see business partner roles. Okay. Yeah. So SAP business partner and then business partner. So you see one is the under business partner we have one basic settings and then persons, organizations and groups. So remember we talked about the business partner categories. So these are the categories, whether you want to create a business partner as a person, which I called as individual previously, or as an organization or as a group. Organization I addressed as a company, right? So these are all the pre-defined settings by SAP. So it is not recommended to change them. Now we come to the basic settings. In basic settings, we have to see the business partner rules. That also we talked about that there are certain predefined rules which have been set in the system. So we can use them as it is. And even in the real scenario, these roles are used as it is. So we see that first we will check that all the roles that we want to create, are they available? So the first role that we want to create is the business partner itself. So business partner in the general, which will capture all the general information like the address, the bank data, contact details, name, search term, etc. And then assigning them into the specific roles, which is either the company code vendors or the purchasing area vendors. So we talked about it. So company code vendor, the role for that the role characteristics, that is FLVN00, and for extending that to the purchasing area FLVN01. This is also available. Customer in FI is FLCU00 and customer in sales segment is FLCU01. So we have checked that the roles that we want to create the master data in, they are already available. Now we go back and we create a number range and assign a number range to the group. So for that, we'll come to number ranges and grouping. We'll first define number range, intervals, and then available number range. So you see the number ranges at the business partner level and the number ranges at the vendor group level. So these were the two number ranges that we talked about. So the number ranges that we select here versus the number range that we select here should be same. Now our task is to identify a range from both the places which is matching. We see that this number range 30008 0000 and the number range here, both are matching. So we can choose 50,000 out of both and create a number range. So we'll copy. And we add 50,000 to it. This becomes 5. And we can give a number to it. Number can be different. So we can give it, let's say, which one is free. What did that be? Here we find it, and then we give it a code A2 and then save it. Let's see whether it is created or not. A2. Try to create the same number range in vendor also. And that we see what group is empty. So we see A2 is free here also. Save it is created A2. And remember, we have to keep this number as external number. Okay. Now we are fortunate enough that we could create the same number range with the same name of the same number A2. Now assign this number range to the respective groups. Assign number range to the vendor account groups. So group that we created was when and the range is A2. Save. We can note it down in Excel sheet. Vendor group is one and number range is A2. Now we come back to the business partner. Already saved it. We assign this number range to business partner grouping. Here we create a new entry, create a grouping. So we can create, let's say, MX A2. The number range we created. Plus A2. So we have to, because the number range that will appear when we are creating the business partner, not by the grouping key, but by the description that we give here. So we should give a description that is recognizable when we are actually creating the business partner. So we can say, if you can remember, we can keep the same name, MX8. This is for vendor group. We can use the same number range for the customer master data also. MX8. And remember, we have to keep this as internal. Entry already exists. We have to change. MX8 is not a good idea. Entry and A2. Okay. Enter. Right. Number is MQ82. Business partner is created, and we don't have to put internal. Now there is two more settings that we have to do. We have to synchronize both the groups, the customer or the vendor group that we created earlier here, and the business partner grouping here under the business partner. And the path for that is same here in the SPRO screen. Instead of going to the business partner, we will go to the master data synchronization. So master data synchronization, customer vendor integration, business partner settings, settings for vendor integration, And from here, field assignments to vendor integration, assign keys, define number assignments for direction BP to vendor. Now we will select, we will create new entry. We will choose the respective groups that we created. This is the group that we created in business partner. That was MQ. It was the group MQ. You can also, that we can directly type it here. And the group in the vendor was when1. Now we want that same number should be generated. And say press enter. It will save the setting. Before we could start creating the business partner and the respective roles, there is one more setting that is required, and this is setting a payment term field as the required entry while we are creating the company code information. For that, the path is SAP business partner. Here again in the SPRO screen. So under the SPRO, this is the cross component application. Under the cross component application, I want to see this is the cross application component, and then SAP business partner, basic settings, field grouping, and then configure field attributes per BP role. Configure field attributes for each role category. Double click this. Now select the role. So the role that we want to have is FPL EM00, that is the vendor role. Double click. And then company code data, vendor company code data. Double click this. Vendor general company code data. So we need to go to the vendor general company code data and then search for payment transaction. Search for that vendor payment condition. It is an optional entry here. Set it to required entry and then save. So all our configurations for creating the business partner in general role and creating business partner or assigning the business partner into FI and in purchasing organization role are also ready. Now we can start generating the vendor master data. For creating the business partner, directly go to the code BP enter. And these are the categories: persons, organization or group. We want to create the business partner in organization. Now the first we will have to create business partner in general role. So this is the business partner general role is auto selected. Don't have to give anything for the business partner. This will be filled automatically and number will be generated once all the data is filled and save is pressed. Grouping, we have to select the grouping that we created. So we created the NQA2. Search for the grouping that we created. NQA2. Address, title is company, address is Arizona, vendor, Arizona. We have to give the name in 2 fields, otherwise it will start showing the error. Search term 1 is mandatory. House number, anything, postal code 110022, city New Delhi, country India, region Delhi. Rest are optional fields. Overview, control. Bank data, if it is available now, we can fill it. Otherwise, whenever a payment is made, we can generate the information accordingly. So for the time being, we can leave it blank. Save. So it will say a business partner is created. Now we have to assign this business partner into the vendor role, because it will not be created as vendor master data unless we assign it to the role of FLBN00, and that role will be created in company code. So let's see how we do that. So once this PP is created, we go and change it. So now it has come into the changed mode. So from here, the business partner number will remain the same. We can change the role. So the role is vendor. So this is the coding is not given here, only the description is given. So that is why it becomes important to remember that what role has what description. So we see if we have selected the correct role, so it will pop up the correct need of information that is to be filled. So because we have created or we have selected the supplier role in FI, that is why this company code tab has been popped up. You can select the company code. Now we have to give the company code here, REC1. Say enter. Now this will also ask for a GL account number, which we have not created so far. So we will have to create a GL account in the accounts payable category. So let's see how to create a GL account. We'll go to FS00, companies, we see one. So we will have to see what account that we have to create here, which should be in the appropriate category. That category means the appropriate account group. We know the reference from some other company group. We can also create it with reference. That is, create GL account with template. So I see tracking account number 1210 with template. Company code is one. If I don't know the account number, I can go and search for it. See, account 1210 has been created for vendor. So I can choose the same account, enter, change the description, under account REC. We can create one GL account for multiple vendors, or we can also create one GL account for each vendor, but that will be a lot of data, and our purpose of having this subledger of vendor master data and customer master data will be defeated, because GL gives the summarized picture of all the transactions from the subledgers. So again, it depends on the the strategy of the organization. Control data. Don't need the exchange difference key right now because we will have to create one. This has been copied from the reference company code. So only input text is allowed. And that because we do not have the text structure set up at the moment, so we can also see posting without text allowed. And then the important thing to consider here is that because it is a subledger based account, means it will not accept any direct entries. All the entries will flow from the subledger, which is the vendor area. So the invoices that are created will directly be posting a GL entry in this account. So that is why we say it is a reconciliation account, because it has the data flowing from the subledger of accounts payable. So when it comes to the customer, which is the sales and distribution, or the revenue invoices, we choose customers. For asset, we choose assets. Currently we are dealing with vendors. Accounts payable, so we'll choose vendors. So once an account is a reconciliation account, it cannot be an open item, because this choosing the reconciliation account here also means that all the items, line items which are posted here will be posted with a status of open. Same is the purpose of open item management. So all the items or the line items which are posted in an account which is open item management based, every item will be shown first as an open status. So we cannot have both the features enabled, only one at a time. And sort key 001, create bank interest. So for the reconciliation accounts, field status group is always G067, which is meant for reconciliation accounts. So again, we cannot have post automatically only because we have chosen it reconciliation account, which means automatic postings only. So we can save it 1210. And we can use this GL account here in assigning the vendor role. Sort key 01. Payment terms. Time being, we can fill 001 because this is a required entry, but later when the invoice is created, this can also be changed. Then save. It is asking for one more field. Required field check double invoice has no entry. Okay, so it is asking for a check to be created, which means we will tick here. So anytime if it sees that a duplicate invoice is being created, it will give us a warning. Okay, so whatever fields are left, it will keep giving the errors or the warnings until we satisfy all the field requirements. So it says required field language key has no entry. So let's English here. Now save. Changes have been saved. So let's see if the same has been created in the customer vendor data or not. Note down the customer number. Copy this. Go to the easy access menu. Accounting. Accounts payable. If we go to the T codes which we used in ECC, we will see that it is coming automatically. Enter. We will see that this T code has been disabled or is obsolete, because all these T codes are obsolete. Now we can only go via BP. There is another way of getting the list for the vendors. This is information system, and this is a report. We want to see vendor master data and vendor list. The vendor number here, company code, and what data we want to see. We want to see the list of company codes, address of telecom, or any other information we want to see. Let's say payment data. So run. And we see that this vendor number, which was first created as general business partner, has been assigned a role of a vendor under the company code REC1. Go back. So this is how we create a customer vendor master data in FI. In next class, we will learn about posting the incoming invoice, tax structure, and document splitting. Thank you.